Okay, your top story this morning, of course, for the first time ever, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump faced off against each other in the presidential debate.
While there were a few tense moments last night, we're highlighting just a few here. In case you missed it, let's take a look at the very, very beginning.
Kamala Harris, let's have a good debate.
Nice to see you. Have fun.
Thank you.
All right, so you saw there former President Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris share this brief handshake at the beginning of the debate. Joining us live this morning to break down what all of this body language means between both former President Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris is language expert, body language expert, Traci Brown. Thanks for joining us, Traci.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we just watched that clip. You saw it. There was the initial handshake. It seemed a little odd and forced.
Awkward, right?
It was, because he wouldn't look her in the eye. He did her best to ignore her, not just during the handshake, but the whole evening. So that she really set the tone with that. She had to kind of bob and weave around the podium there and almost duck to get in his eye line so that he would acknowledge her there. So, and she's way into his space, like very far out of her territory. So I think she showed that she was not gonna let him lead this. Like, she was gonna take the lead.
Let's talk about maybe the most bizarre moment last night. Trump was called out for making false statements about reports of immigrants eating dogs in Ohio. So let's take a look at the response here first.
I just want to clarify here. You bring up Springfield, Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well, I've seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is the
people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from television.
But the people
I'm
on
taking it from
television
the city
saying their
manager.
dog was eaten by the people that went there.
All right, your take on that. He was pretty defiant. Kamala Harris just shook her head.
Well, here's what we saw from him. As soon as the line of questioning started, we saw his bottom teeth. And that's what we see from any kind of mammal when they get angry. They see the bottom teeth there. And he licked his lips. That shows anger as well. And so he's angry about this whole thing before it starts. And then we hear it in his tone. So he doesn't like it being brought up.
I just watched that there.
Interesting,
the licking of the lips and the bottom teeth. Okay, so in the next clip, Vice President Kamala Harris stands by the decision made by President Biden to withdraw from Afghanistan. Take a look at this clip.
Well, I will tell you, I agreed with President Biden's decision to pull out of Afghanistan. 4 presidents said they would, and Joe Biden did. And as a result, America's taxpayers are not paying the $300 million a day we were paying for that endless war.
So what did you gather from her body language as she was delivering that answer?
Here's what we got is her blink rate gets very, very low. And our blink rate is normally about 17 to 22 blinks a minute, and we can't control it. It's almost impossible to control. So when blink rate significantly goes off that line, we know that people are either stressed if it goes way up, or if it goes way down, like what she did, they're looking for threat. So she's understanding that there's a challenge there, and she's getting ready to meet that. So that's what we saw from that.
And Mr. Trump just looked bored.
Well,
there was no expression.
Evening, yeah, the whole evening, that's what we saw from him, is his best attempt to avoid engaging. And however, there was tells there between smirks, and especially when we saw his lips tighten up, or when he did that purse that he does that's so trademark for him, that says silent disagreement. So it's all there. He did the best job I've seen from him in containing his emotions. We didn't see the accordion that we normally see from him nearly as much. So he did his best to dial everything back, and I think that may have been part of his strategy, is just not to engage.
But what about the vice president? Because I saw a lot of smiling, kind of smirking, if you will.
Well, here's what she did, is she laughed at him a little bit, but we saw when she did it, that chin went up and she looked down at him. That is contempt. And contempt is defined as moral superiority. So she actually believes that she's on the high ground. Now, she was on the right side of the screen as we watched, which automatically, just through studies, says that she's going to be perceived more positively,
really?
With whatever emotion that she shows. So Trump picked to speak last, and you know, the last word is something that people often remember. So they had different advantages in there, but that kind of lends us to why we may have felt certain ways about each candidate.
That's what I want to get to very quickly. A lot of folks don't really look at the body language as deeply as you do. Does it send kind of subliminal messages to us? Do we take that in and not knowingly that kind of formulates our decision?
Oh, absolutely. This is deeply unconscious, and it's not just body language. Like we all read body language all the time,
right?
Or we wouldn't be able to get by in the world. There's certain people who are neurodiverse who aren't good at it, and they struggle a lot. However, when you combine it with the words, then it really gets some meaning in there. So Kamala will she'll chunk up into values, right, and hope. And when people have hope, they wait. They don't take action. When they lose hope, they take action. Trump chunks into Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Traci, I'm sorry. We're going to have to end this right now. Simply, we're out of time, unfortunately. We could go on for hours with you. It's very, very fascinating. But we thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.